7th grade assistant principal, a 9th grade assistant principal, 12th grade assistant principal, and college professor. So I spent a lot of time in middle school, like you guys, probably 3 times as much as you did. And I want to tell you a little story. You guys ready? Yeah. So can you imagine being a 6th grade girl, waking up every morning, being stressed out, you have your stomach in knots, potentially. You feel like you're gonna die, literally. And it's not because she didn't do her homework, it's not because she didn't study for her test, it's because every single time she sits down next to this certain girl in her study hall, guess what the girl says to her? Anybody want to guess what would put her stomach in knots? Yes. Potentially. Close. Maybe.
Look who's sitting next to me now.
Could be. Close. Yeah. Oh, it's very close. Every single day what she says to her is, do my homework or I'm going to beat you up. It's terrible. So, now, what do you think in this situation this girl should do? What do you think she should do? Hold on. Okay, potentially one good solution to tell the teacher, absolutely, yes. Hold on, guys, I don't mind your activity, it's all good, but I just gotta hear the person that's speaking. So tell an adult, yeah. Okay. Now, is there one small word that has 2 letters that she could say? What would that be? So could she say no? Yeah. So
guys, you're being extremely disrespectful. Unless Dr. Carla is calling on you, no one should be speaking. It's good that you're interested and want to be engaged in a part of the discussion, but please refrain from talking unless you're called on.
So do you want to hear the rest of the story? Yeah. So do you think that this girl stood up for herself? No. So basically what she did is she held it all in. She kept all of that stress, all of that anxiety, all of that overwhelm in until she couldn't take it anymore. How many of you guys have a similar situation that you felt that similar way? Now, with that being said, what do you think her parents did when she finally told her parents what was happening? Okay, yep. What do you think? What solution do you think they came up with? Yep. So basically what happened is she did, like you said, talk to the principal, and then her parents moved her school. Now, was that the right solution? So why do you think, before you say anything else, why do you think that wasn't the best solution? Okay, perfect, yep. Could have, yep. She just said it. They never solved the problem. So if you move away from the problem and avoid it, is that going to help you become stronger, more resilient, and help you grow? No. So absolutely not. So what do you think happened when this girl went to the next school? What do you think happened? Okay. Yeah, so basically what happened is this girl went to the new school. She had great friends, good grades, played sports, hung out with her family, all the things, but she still didn't learn how to stand up for herself and become resilient. Now, do you know who this girl was? her homework. I went to another school, and it happened again. And I went to high school. Now, the same situation didn't happen. It wasn't homework. It was something else. And then I went to college. And then as an adult, I had learned how to stand up for myself. So standing up for yourself isn't fighting. It isn't all that. But it's really, truly believing in yourself. And somebody over here said it, or over here just saying no. So basically what happens is we come to the question of fear. So would you let fear take over? So could you understand how she was feeling fear each time she woke up? Now, how many of you guys stand up for other people? How many of you could say you genuinely stand up for other people? Okay. So now I haven't spoken to anybody over here. So what do you guys think? What is one way that you can either share with me a way that you've stood up for other people or someone else has stood up for you? Anybody over here? No? I'll come back. What do you think? No? So what's that?
He stood up for his brother.
Okay, so I'm going to continue my story a little bit. 1 second. I'm going to continue my story, and so a lot of times when we're in groups, so I was in the sporty group. So we were a group of good people, had good friends, nice to one another, but were we always nice to one another? No. So have you ever heard of a clique? Yeah, we didn't really let people in our group. We all played sports, we did certain things, but we didn't really let others into our group. Now, is that the kindest thing to do? No, definitely not. Now, how can we maybe stand up for ourselves, stand up for our friends, let others in our group in a comfortable manner? Does it always feel safe and comfortable to do that? So, even in your own friend group, have you experienced where someone has been mean to you and you might have been mean or gossiped to someone else? Okay. Yeah. So, does anybody want to share how they handle that? How do they typically, like say someone's gossiping about someone else, you're listening, how do you typically handle that? Hold on, guys, I can't hear her. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so you kind of just shut it down. You set your boundary and you tell them that. Good. Does anybody else have another scenario in which they can kind of move themselves away from drama, away from, gossip, away from being unkind to others? No? Yes. Okay, reach out to a friend for sure. Yes. You can, absolutely. You can tell your mom, you can tell another trusted adult. So, how does it feel when someone says something unkind to you? It feels terrible. And so, basic rule, what's that rule of thumb? Treat others. Right. And if you guys realize, so now, over here, I think earlier you said you showed gratitude to your teacher by saying she looked nice. Or you did, correct. Now, so how many positive comments do you think it takes to balance out one negative comment? Okay. Could be. Okay. Anybody else want to guess? Right. So there's different, if you look it up on the internet, there's different research, but it's at least 7 to 10. So if you say one negative thing, if I said something negative to you, just something bad, I'm not going to say it, it would take 7 comments from 7 different people to make you kind of feel good again, okay? So is there anything holding you back from saying something nice to someone else or including them in your group? No. Well, there has to be something holding you back because we're not doing it all the time, are we? Okay, so how many times do you think you say a positive comment versus not the opposite of that, a negative comment in one day? I mean, kind of just self-reflect for a minute. Well, it might be quite often, it might be that it's not something that you say outward, but it's something that is subconscious. So what are some ways that we can show kindness to others and include others? Very simple ways, not something that is to the extent of standing up for someone else, but just something very simple that you can do or say to another human being that's going to help them be a part of your group and feel included. What would you say? Yeah. Can I ask them a question? Okay. Okay, a compliment, a genuine compliment. Okay, just saying hi to someone. Do you oftentimes smile at other people? Do you? I love that you smile. And do you notice sometimes how other people aren't smiling back? Yeah. So do you think just something as simple as smiling at someone else is going to help them feel included and help them feel less ignored and left out? Yeah, well, yes. But, right. So just something as simple as that can help someone feel included. Now, when you guys are facing a challenge, there's two routes that you can take. When something is new and there's a challenge, you can either grow, or what's the other option? Or what's another way of saying that? Yeah, you could, yes. Okay. Okay, so you can either grow and overcome it, or what's the other option? Kind of. Okay, well, or you could basically just stay comfortable. So do you guys ever notice how you keep doing something over and over again, regardless if it's good or bad for you, just because it's comfortable? Is there anything that you do that's comfortable that you know you probably shouldn't do anymore? Like what are some things that maybe they're comfortable, but you do them anyways? Like, for example, I'll give you an example and then I'll have you answer with you. So, for example, do you ever just sit and scroll on your phone? That's the number one thing. So do we know that it's probably not the best for us? Right. But we do it because it's comfortable. It's just comfortable, it's comfortable. So if we wanted to grow from that and we wanted to change that behavior, how do you think we would change that behavior? Okay, go outside more. Okay. Now is that really gonna help? So do you think you have to go to the extreme of not ever having a phone anymore just because you scroll? No, but what's like a small incremental step you can take? Ooh, replace it with another activity, like what? Like what, hon? What would you replace it with? Yeah, look. Guys, hold on, it's hard for me to hear him. I'm right next to him. Gentlemen? I'll come back to you. Yes, definitely. Ooh, a time limit. Perfect. Ooh. Okay, did you hear what he just said? He said, give yourself a goal. And when we talk about goals, super important. When you're hanging out, we can kind of go back to what we were talking about before. When you're hanging out with people, you got to think to yourself, is this person bringing me closer to my goals, which are to do my homework, to study, to be involved in activities, to be kind to others, or are they distracting me and taking me away from my goals? So that's a really good point, because a lot of times we spend time with people that distract us, just like the phone, the scrolling distracts us, people distract us. And we spend our time with them when we should be spending our time with people that are going to move us forward. So you have two choices. Now, how about video games? How many of you guys get stuck at certain levels of video games? Yeah. I knew you guys were going to think about that. Now, when you guys get stuck on certain video games, okay, you say you get to a certain level and you get stuck. Now, how many of you guys in certain subjects, say math, social studies, whatever it might be, get stuck at certain points when you're doing certain assignments? Okay. Now, how do you guys, raising your hands, how do you guys get through the level on the video game? What do you do to get past that level? Guys, oh wait, guys, again, just one at a time? One at a time? Thanks. Okay, so she tries different strategies. Awesome. Yes. What does that mean? No. Okay, you definitely adapt. Yes. Just a little bit louder. Keep practicing until you get it. Google it. Yup. Hold on. Ladies, gentlemen. Keep trying. Yep. So now, when it comes to math, or it comes to homework, or social studies, or science, whatever subject you're taking, do you feel like you have that same level of, I'm just going to keep doing it, I'm going to Google it, I'm going to keep trying, I'm going to practice? Do you have that same level that you do when you do play video games? Okay, so how come? Okay. Got it. So, as we all can tell, video games are super fun. School's great, but sometimes the assignments aren't as fun. But what do you prove to yourself by knowing that you can pass that certain level in the video game? What have you proved to yourself? That you can do it. Mm-hmm. I need to keep practicing. Great. You're good at problem solving. Ooh, I didn't think of that one. That one's great. So now, do you have do you have a belief in yourself when you're talking about video games? Do you believe in yourself? So now, do you have that same level of belief in math or science or social studies or English? Right. So if I asked you right now, like we didn't even say the definition of resiliency or whatever, but point is you guys all know what resiliency is, because if you think of a video game and you get stuck at a certain level and then you keep persevering and pushing through and figuring it out, you have resiliency. But and you believe in yourself. If I asked you, do you believe in yourself? You maybe say yes, maybe say no. But what if I said the same thing for math, or I said the same thing for your ELA class? You might, do you have resiliency in there? Do you keep practicing? Do you keep working at it until you get it? Okay, well, some people might not. So why am I bringing up these two things? What am I trying to explain to you here? That's okay, but what am I trying to share with you? Why would I talk about video games, and then why would I talk about certain assignments or certain homework? Okay, yeah, that could be part of it. What do you mean? Did you guys hear what he said?
You guys can't hear if you're talking over each other.
Go ahead. So, explain that a little bit more. Okay. So when you first start working on passing levels in video games, do you always pass that level right away? So does it sometimes take you 5 times, 10 times, 50 times to pass it? Well, depends on how good you are, right? So now, but as you go and you pass the levels of the video game, are you growing? Right, so then as you pass, you get better, and then you become a better player. So is growth a straight line? Does growth just go like this? No. Well, what happens with growth? Can somebody explain that to me? If it's not a straight line, what happens? You tell me. And what do we do when those bumps arise? Okay, there's different obstacles that come up, absolutely. And is that normal? So how many of you guys have made a mistake before? Of course, everybody. How many of you guys have actually failed something before? Failed a test, failed a homework assignment, right? Alright guys, let's come back. So, now many of you guys have, obviously, we've all made mistakes. We've all failed something. Well, how do we need to face failure? What's a good way to react to failure or making a mistake? What's a good way? Guys, I'm having trouble hearing her. Okay, perfect. So she said just try, keep doing it. She said getting support. Learning from your mistakes, absolutely. Ooh, I like that. Did you hear what she said? She said, the past is the past, just keep trying. What were you going to say? What's that? What do you mean by that? Yes, absolutely. Try it till you can get it, yeah. Ooh, so do you have role models? I mean, have you ever, I know you guys have, and this wasn't something I was going to talk about, but you brought up a good point. So do you ever see someone that is ahead of you on certain things? Do you notice that? And it depends on how you look at it. Now, if someone is ahead of you, whether it be in sports, whether it be in video games, whether it be in class, if they're doing something that you want to do and they've already done it, why is it good to follow them? Why is it good to pay attention to them? Why is that a good thing? They can give you what? Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Yep, so she said you can see what methods that they're using. You guys are gonna wait? Yep, by learning the methods that they're using. Yep, absolutely. Do you have something? Up here, yeah, what were you gonna say? Oh, you can get into good habits, you can learn good habits? Yes. Yes, you can get better at it? Absolutely. Yes. Say that again? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so I didn't really come to talk about role models, but that was something that came up, and I'm glad you brought that up. Because oftentimes, are you exactly where you want to be right now? We always are kind of we're always looking at the future, looking at our goals and where we want to get to. And it's healthy to be in the present moment, and it's definitely healthy to look forward. And the only way that we're going to get to reach our goals, one thing that can help us is to model after others. And not become others, but model and learn the habits that they are using to be successful. Now, how many of you guys realize that how powerful your thoughts are? Okay. Now, how many of you guys have said in your head something like, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to fail, I'm terrible at this, all the things, right? Now, how many of you guys are how many of you guys have tried this? Have you ever tried, when you hear that thought, have you ever tried to change that thought? So how does that work for you? Like, how do you do that? Yeah. Guys, I want to make sure I hear him because he had his hand up. I think he's got it. Okay. Yes. Hold on, I gotta come closer. Say it again. So if you've ever tried to replace, be careful, if you've ever tried to replace a negative thought by a positive thought, does it always work? So if you've been telling yourself that you are terrible at soccer and then all of a sudden you just one time say that you're good at soccer, are you going to believe that? So how many of you guys play soccer here? Okay. And how many of you guys think that you're good at shooting? Okay. Now, I didn't realize how many people play soccer here. So, who wants to share, who wants to share how, does anyone have a good way that they prepare themselves mentally for their games? Does anybody want to share, their process? Stretching, okay, physically stretching is part of it, yes. Say that again? Tell me, what does your pep talk sound like? Okay. Okay, listening to music? Definitely. Yes. What's that? Yes. So how do you lock in? Yes, what else? So, I think you guys are all on the right track, but we're missing one thing. We talked about stretching, listening to music. Now, yes. Yes. Thank you. So what do you put in your mind? Okay, so basically what she said is you put it in your mind that you can do it. So for example, I know all of you guys have been on Instagram. I was on this morning and I saw an Olympic athlete who says she writes down, I will win the Olympics, literally hundreds of times a day prior to her going to the Olympics. She writes it down, writes it down, writes it down, writes it down. That's one strategy that she uses to have that self-belief. But what she really needs is she needs evidence. So if we go back to the soccer explanation, everybody here said they are good at shooting. What evidence do you have to back that up? So give me some evidence. Hey, guys, I'm going to get over to you in the middle. Just give me a second. Okay, perfect. Yes.
Highlight reels.
Of who?
Yourself.
You have those?
Yes.
On your phone? You do? So watch it yourself do. So guys, did you hear what he said? So, he says he watches himself score. He will videotape. You just said highlight reels, you'll videotape yourself scoring. So, what were you going to say? Oh, data. So he basically, he keeps track of how many shots he takes and how many he makes and how many he misses. So that's data that's proving to you that you can do it. Yes. Wait. Because they're not listening to you. So, do you know how many assists you get a game? Do you know how many assists you get a game? About average. One or two assists? Okay. Anybody else have any other evidence that can prove that they're good at? Yes. So, I'm going to wait a second so they can hear you. Yeah. What were you saying? Ooh, tell me more. Tell me more. So he's actually making a really good point. How do you not put pressure on yourself? Because that's key. How do you not feel that anxiety or that stress? Yeah, what does that mentality describe it? So basically what he's telling us here, so when he says he thinks he's the best, what he basically means, what you're doing is you're not letting doubt creep in. You have no doubt whatsoever. So if you miss the ball, if you miss the goal, whatever, I'm still the best. If you make it in, I'm still the best. So by not letting doubt creep in, that's the key. You want to share? What's that? Tell me about it. So, but what I like about that is, so basically, do you see yourself as that identity? You step into that identity? Do you step into that identity? That's key. So, guys, when you're making a big decision and it's a challenge for you, do you ever use any type of strategy to make a major decision? So, could you share one thing that you do prior to making a major decision? What's one thing? Can you repeat it? So, before you make a large decision? I'm trying to figure out what he's saying. Wait, guys, he's got a good point here. Let's listen. Can we come back to it? Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, I like that. Okay, so step one, she just basically shared, okay, I know a lot of you guys in here are impulsive. You do things like that. You just do it and you don't think about it. Now, a rule that I give myself, what she just said there, is if I have a major decision, I give myself 48 hours. So, I don't make the decision right away and be impulsive, but I also don't wait a week or 2 weeks to make that decision. So it gives you the time to kind of think about it, give yourself some time to figure the pros and cons, and then make that decision. Perfect, yes. Okay, yes. Perfect. So she reaches out to someone she trusts. She asks for help. That's great. That's a great strategy. Yes. Okay, so you list the pros and cons. Now, guys, how many of you here have heard of visualization? So, what she just said there, if you're ever going to make a big decision and you list the pros and cons, which is step one. Step two is see yourself in scenario number one. Literally visually see yourself there, take your time and think about it, and then visualize yourself on the other side, the con side. So what would it look like if I made this decision, and what would it look like if I made that decision? And you step right into it, yes. Now, so reaching out to family or adults. What about managing your emotions? Do you ever make decisions when you're like super excited or super upset and then they don't go the right way? So how do you manage your emotions? Or what were you going to say? What were you going to say? Just raise your hand. So is it the best to make a decision when we're upset? What tends to usually happen? Okay, but then what kind of decision do you tend to make? What kind of decision do you tend to make? So do we oftentimes make poor decisions if we are not managing our emotions, if we're feeling angry or frustrated or excited, things like that? So just like you guys shared, those are when you are making a big decision, when a challenge is presenting itself, reaching out for help, managing your emotions, having that open mind, that growth mindset, as well as as well as taking care of yourself. Now, when we talk about taking care of yourself, does it sound lame for me to say like go to bed early? Yes, of course it does. Of course it does. Now, why is that so important? Why is it so important to take care of yourself? Why do you think? Absolutely. So, is your mentality based upon how you feel? 100%, yes. Somebody else. So guys, if you're feeling good because you got a lot of sleep, if you're feeling good because you manage your emotions, what kind of decision are you going to make? A really good decision. You want to share? Okay. So, now if I were to ask you guys today to kind of wrap it up here, what would be one small action step that you would take today to either, what would be one small action step you would take today to either grow, overcome a challenge, make a good decision? What would be one small tweak you could do this week consistently to grow? What does that look like? So, do you have an upcoming decision you need to make? Okay. So, where do you think you have the highest level of self-belief? Baseball. Okay. Now, here's a good point, guys. So he's sharing that he has the highest level of self-belief in baseball. So he thinks he's really good at baseball, and he is. Now, what's an area that you maybe don't believe as much? No, like in your life. Okay, so how can you transfer the mindset you use in baseball to science? Guys. Absolutely. I love that. Does anybody have a place that another area that they're really strong in, they really believe in themselves? Ooh, volleyball. So we know she's good at volleyball. So now, do you practice a lot? Now, Laura, guys, I want to make sure I hear what she's saying. Almost there. So, what do you do in volleyball that you can take into another area of your life that would be an area that you might not be as strong in? Okay. So what would you? So what do you do really good in volleyball that you could do in that? You said surfing. In surfing. Serving. Okay. But wait. Okay. So you're strong in volleyball, but you need to work on your serve. Is that what you're saying? Your serve is your strong point. Got it. So now, what's an area in your life that might not be as strong as your serve in volleyball? Okay. So now, what do you do to make your serve so strong that you can do to make your tip strong? Maybe it's something for you to think about this week, right? Yeah? Yes. Okay, you're really good at chess. And how did you become so good at chess? Yes. Okay, so she practices chess often, multiple times a day. Is there anybody that wants to be better at something but puts almost no effort in? Okay. Now, is that going to get you what you want? No. What's the thing you really want to become really good at? really good at swimming. So how often do you practice? Ooh, well, you're putting in the work. So, guys, she's putting in the work and doing swimming 6 days a week, but she still wants to get better. What do you think would be a good tip for her? Not that we all know how to swim, because she's the one that knows how to swim, but what could she do to become better? Yes. I mean, you could put more training in, but it sounds like you're doing a lot as it is, yes? Ooh, what would that look like? Ooh, so your mindset is important, yes? Ooh, what does that look like? Ooh, like a productive way of practicing, yes? Guys, I know we're at the end of the day. We just got a couple more minutes. I just want to hear what she said. Can you say it again? Perfect. So maybe tracking some of your data? Yes. Perfect. So how much time do you put into riding your unicycle? So, do you think she's going to get better at it if she does it once every few days? So, it might be time, but be part of it. But do you visualize yourself actually riding it well? Ooh, okay. Okay, definitely. Do you want to share as well? Okay, yes. Yep. So back to the swimming, she said watching people in the Olympics and see how they're doing it. Ooh, changing your method potentially. Okay. So yes. What about it? Okay, so what are you doing right now that is getting you the results you're looking for? Okay, so what do you need to do? How long? How long? Are you going to track your data?
Yes.
How?
Right on the ground,
So now, do you see yourself as being successful in this?
yes.
What does it look like?
It looks like he's getting on top of the status, making money every single day.
So do you visualize that?
Yes.
I think you're probably a pretty good manifester, right? I think so. I think so. So do you physically and mentally step into that identity when you do that? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Okay, guys. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for your attention today and your time.